Shame sabotages men. Shame destroys a man's sense of worth and effective leadership by shifting his inner narrative from "I did something wrong" to "I am something wrong," which undermines a man's confidence, clarity, and courage. Instead of leading from conviction, he operates from fear of exposure, failure, or rejection. Today's guest is Craig Glass, who leads Peregrine Ministries in Monument, Colorado. Craig is the author of Noble Journey and tours the country speaking to men about the corrosive effect of shame on a man's identity and his leadership. The Next Stage helps men live lives of purpose, born out of their identity as men created in God's image. The show is available in both video and audio formats like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. For more information about Rob Stout or the Next Stage team, visit sherpaunlimited.com/podcast. For any resources mentioned in today's program, be sure to check out the show notes, which are embedded in this episode. Also, please take a moment to give this podcast a 5-star rating, a like, and a share to your friends on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And right now is a great time to pause the show while you press that subscribe button, and then come right back. The Next Stage podcast for men is recorded in Erie, Colorado, and produced by Christopher Mann at resermon.com. Whether you are at the gym, on a flight, driving to an appointment, or just chilling out, this podcast is a resource to help men get to the next level. Welcome to The Next Stage.
Does your sermon only get one squeeze? There's probably more juice in that sermon. ReSermon repurposes sermon content for optimal ministry impact. Learn more at resermon.com or email hello@resermon.com.
Hey man, it's Rob Stout with the Next Stage podcast and Sherpa Unlimited. You know, people ask me, what do you love to do most in life? Here it is. I love to talk to men's groups, like retreats, conferences, men's breakfast, I don't care, tailgate, night at the cigar bar, night around a campfire. I don't care what it is. I love to talk to men and to hear what's going on in their life, but to impart wisdom and to talk about living as a man of purpose, born out of identity of who God has made you to be. Man, if that's something that you're like, let's go, just simply email me. The Next Stage at sherpaunlimited.com, and let's set up a time to come talk to your men's group, your breakfast. We could do it online. I don't care where you are in the world. Email us. Let's figure it out. The Next Stage at sherpaunlimited.com. Men,
Fancy.
Welcome to The Next Stage. And I am super excited to have with us Craig Glass of Peregrine Ministries. Craig, welcome. I'm so glad
Thank
you're
you
here.
very much. I'm glad to be here, Rob.
You know, I was thinking about this episode, and man, this could be perhaps the most important episode we've ever done. And Craig, just so you know, I never say that.
Wow.
Man, here's why. We're talking about an issue that all of us deal with. And the idea that we're framing this whole thing around is that shame is like a saboteur in your life. Shame is something that is kind of lurking around your life. It's like one of those movies you watch and you're like, that guy's doing it and he doesn't even know it. And he's sabotaging everything about the man's life in the movie. Picture your life that way. And that's what we're diving into. This has the potential to be one of the most powerful, and I know it is for me. Craig's going to share some of his story. One of the most powerful topics that we can possibly deal with in life. And so super excited about this. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome, Rob. And I just got to say, you know, I don't see the whole list in front of me of all your previous podcasts. I'm sure they're phenomenal. I got to agree. Truly, to me, for men, shame is an overwhelmingly urgent topic, and it's lost. It's hidden.
Absolutely. It's a silent saboteur, as we're calling it. Craig, let's just dive right into this. What first made you realize that shame was such a defining issue in men's lives?
Yeah. Wonderful question, Rob. I'll set it up this way. I I was wonderfully blessed to be born in a Christian family with very, very devout, faithful parents. Basically started going to Sunday school and evening Sundays and prayer meetings on Wednesdays from day one, just about. Bit of an exaggeration, but you get the picture. I never, ever, ever, ever heard any message on the topic of shame throughout my childhood, young adults, and into mid-adulthood. Never. It was only once, it was mid-90s for me. So that's right around when I hit 40, that I heard the term, and I read a couple of books that just shot a spotlight on it. One is from an Christian author, Larry Crabb. He's the first one that talked about the silence of Adam and how we men remain silent and passive. And you go a little bit further, you discover shames in there. And then a second book, Shame and Grace, the author Lewis Smedes. Unbelievable. Scales fell from my eyes about the topic of shame and how I was, the word that's coming to mind is victim. I certainly don't mean to make it sound like, somebody who's unfairly treating me and I'm the victim of shame. But wow, I was, and I did not know it. And frankly, if anybody's treating us unfairly, including every single person listening right now, that comes from the hand of the enemy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Crabb's book, early 90s, I'm sure it's still in publication, men. The Silence of Adam is a wonderful resource. Reach out, grab it. And I love to be a toolbox guy. Like, here, try this. Look at this. This helped my friend. This helped me. Love you passing that resource on. Let's personalize this and dive into it. The reason is not to be what I call an emotional smorgasbord for the world. I carry a lot of shame and have carried a lot of shame in my life from, number one, a family history. Our people were poor. There was also a lot of abuse in our family history that everybody carried shame. Pile on top of that, the church, which led with, you are bad. What was your story like? How did that come online for you, like early in life, or when did you realize
that so much, Rob? And it's not like I want to do a litany of wow, poor me, I got hit with this and this and this and this. That's not the point. The point is, tell the story. Tell the story. I think the sources of shame come from all sorts of different places. Among others, our families, and any kind of a church or spiritual background that we grew up in. I would say the first story I remember going back to encountering shame, I mentioned this in the book I wrote, Noble Journey, was inadvertently, as you know the story, I was about 8 or 9 years old. My younger brother, he was 3 or 4. We're digging holes in the backyard of our house, and Clyde is his name. He's sitting in the hole, and we've got tools and stuff, shovels, rakes and things like that to dig these holes and spread them out. I grab a pitchfork, and I thought a great idea is to scare the daylights out of my brother Clyde by raising it above my head and bringing the pitchfork down into the ground in front of the hole. A fun thing for an 8-year-old to do with his 3-year-old brother. Right. I missed. Bad aim. In fact, I missed the planet. What I was aiming for was the planet. I drove the pitchfork into Clyde's knee. And immediately, jumped back. I'm seeing blood spurting out and draining down his knee. Of course, he's understandably crying. And I tossed the pitchfork, and I know he's going to head inside immediately. What do you suppose the first thing that came to my mind was? Don't tell Mom.
Right.
Dad's at work. Don't tell Mom. Well, what in the world else is a 3-year-old going to do when he's got blood spurting out of his knee? Huge story, Rob. I won't go through all the details, but he ran inside, and then my mom came out and said, what in the world happened? And I started a series of the worst sequence of lies on the spur of the moment that in the history of mankind, I would say, or at least in terms of sibling rivalry, I lied through my teeth. What happened to Clyde? Oh, he got stuck by a wire and a cable in the hole. Where's the cable? Oh, I dug it up and I hid it, buried it back by the alley. How I did that, in like the 30 seconds it took her to run out the house. I just lied and lied and lied, layer after layer. And then my dad came home and asked me the same thing. Bottom line being, Rob, I covered up and I thought I got away with it. I did not get away with it. What happened is a cloak of shame came on to me that day. I put on a custom fit vest of shame, and it got a number of layers later on in life, of course, but that was one of the first I remember. The truth about me is not just, oh man, I made a mistake with my brother, bad decision, but I made a mistake. No, the truth was, you are defective beyond all hope. No one else is as bad as you.
Yeah.
That's the message of shame.
Yeah. How would you define shame? Like, what is it? If it's the silent saboteur, what is it?
Yeah, love it. I was just about to jump in and say that. I think an important way of answering the question is, it's not the same as guilt. It's vastly different. In fact, it's almost different from guilt in almost every single way. Guilt is the truth about us, about some kind of behavior we did. The guilt that I felt about stabbing my brother. Use a hypothetical incident. Let's say you happen to shoplift a white members only jacket from a department store when you were a freshman in college, Rob.
That was the look, bro. Yes.
Yeah, just pick a hypothetical case.
Yeah.
You don't get caught. Well, what you know about you is you're guilty. Yeah. You did it. It's truth about our behavior. Shame is a lie about your identity. Guilt, the voice of conviction, comes from the Holy Spirit for those of us who follow Christ. The message of shame is condemnation, not conviction. Condemnation, damnation about your identity from the mouth of the enemy.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
So good. So good. And I'm going to steal the thunder a little bit of the end of this episode. We have got a PDF on this that Craig and his partner put together. And I'm looking at it right here, which is why I keep glancing to my right. It says that guilt says, I did something wrong. Again, what you did, the practice, whatever. Behavior. Shame says there's something wrong with me. There's something defective inside of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two different things.
One's behavior, the other is identity, who you are. Gosh, what a subtle difference, but it's a chasm. It's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. How does shame act as a saboteur? How does it kind of stay underground? It kind of lurks in the background. It hides behind you, stabs you in the back. How does it function like that?
Yeah, excellent. Great question. I used the word a cloak. When I stabbed my brother, a cloak of shame came over me. Mm-hmm. That's a way I look at it. That we have something around us in our vision, in our view, that defines us as being defective and below satisfaction on a scale of anybody else. It's hiddenness, it's darkness. And so it comes out as insecurity or performance or workaholism. or perfectionism. Another way of putting it would be masks that we wear that might be more familiar to the guys listening. Not just a cloak, but it's a mask that I learned how to wear, and it works for me. I compensate for that shame, so I do everything to a level of perfection so that nobody will see any flaws about me. Or I'm a workaholic. I compensate for lack of sense of worth. So I work the daylights out of every single day. Anger and violence. Those are other masks that come through that many of us men wear in life, what's just beneath the surface of the mask of anger and violence.
Yeah.
Self-protection. What if somebody finds out who I truly am? And it goes on and on. Silence, passivity, addictive behavior, all these things, Rob. All of these are masks that truly cover this message of shame on the inside. And I've just got to think that the people listening are going, you're telling my story, man.
I mean, there's a loneliness and isolation epidemic going on in our world today. 50% of men report frequent feelings of loneliness. Another 50% report not having any close friends. And 70% of men report not having a significant relationship or a conversation that goes beyond the surface level in the last week. Life doesn't have to be that way. In fact, Sherpa Unlimited has come along and said, we want to help solve that problem. And I want you to picture your world like this. Picture your world where you have other strong men around you who are heading the same direction you are. Not just yes men in your life or drinking buddies or poker playing buddies or something like that, but men where you had the opportunity to grow, to really foster the kind of life that you want, to grow that internal world that allows you to be the man you need to be at work, at home, in your community. Men who were there to challenge you, but also lift you up when you fall. And we all do. I want you to check out Sherpa Unlimited's opportunity that we have coming up. They're called Ascent Men's Communities. These are bi-weekly groups that meet literally anywhere in the world. You have to invest in these. They're not just free, but it's very affordable. You'll see. Less than the cost of a couple pizzas and certainly less than the cost of your gym membership. Go to sherpaunlimited.com/ascent. We'll see you in one of our Ascent Men's communities very soon.
And I've just got to think that the people listening are going, you're telling my story, man. You're telling my story.
You're telling my story. And here's the thing. We have walked through this and man, Craig and I got together for lunch that I could wish would have lasted all week and just kind of shared similar paths of our stories, you know, and there was a time when this stuff came to light for both of us. And it's like, oh, I'm living in this facade I've created that I can't live up to. And the reality is if I'm not there in the conversation and you're not there because you're faking it too, nobody's there. You know, and so
Good
man, the idea of just like understanding that when we live in shame, we begin to fake it. And it comes out in all kinds of ways. Comes out, the term I use a lot, I'm sure you do too, is sideways. Comes out in my behavior, comes out in my addiction, it comes out in my passive aggressive, my aggressive, you know, comes out a lot.
The very obvious aggressive. It comes out sideways. And why is that? It works for us. People keep their distance when I come across as hostile. People admire me when I do everything on a scale of 1 to 10. I always hit the 10. Whatever it is, Rob, whatever it is, it works for us. The problem is it covers up, it hides that chasm on the inside. The chasm being, I'm not sure I matter. In fact, I'm defective by all description. It's a problem. You haven't asked the question quite yet, but if you don't mind, I'd like to. What's coming to my mind is guys might be wondering, where does shame come from in the first place?
That's exactly where we were heading, man. Yeah, go. Yeah,
yeah. May I dive into that,
please?
Because it comes from several sources. One of them is just the culture we live in. Ironically, the culture we live in provides nonstop messages to us through commercials, advertising, nonstop messages that essentially say, you're not good enough. You ought to be driving this car. You ought to live in this neighborhood. You ought to be wearing this deodorant, for Pete's sake. Then the babes will be coming. Whatever it is, our culture communicates subtle degrees of lack of self-worth. You're not enough. But really, the start of the shame story happened in the Garden of Eden, with the first guy and the first woman, when they were deceived by the enemy himself, who subtly convinced them, is God really looking out for you?
Right.
Has he really given you everything you need? Because the truth was, they had everything they needed. And the enemy said, not this. You don't have this. And so that, of course, we know the story. They took a bite of the apple. And what happens later on, I got to mention, there's a verse in Genesis 3:10 that to me is the saddest verse in the Old Testament. It is the saddest verse. And it's when they've already discovered they're naked, they cover up, they hide. God finds them and says to Adam, why were you running from me? And he said, I heard you and I was afraid. So I hid me. Unbelievable.
That's it.
The first guy, when encountered by his creator, loving creator who made him who he is, the first guy covered up and then says, I hid me. That's the Wycliffe translation. I love that. I hid me. Wow. That's the truth. That's shame, guys. That is shame.
And there's nothing in the story that Moses, as he writes, the Pentateuch, the Torah, he doesn't say, and God was mad as hell. God was pissed off. God came in judgment. All it says is God, and God asked the question, where are you?
Yeah, where are you? I came looking for you.
These messages were Adam's messages. He knew what happened. And so his reaction was hide, cover up, fear, shame.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's also interesting talking about what God said. God was not angry. God did not condemn him. In fact, God said, who told you you were naked? Who told you that? Who told you? You have to cover up from me. Gosh, it is the saddest verse in the Old Testament. I'll just finish the rest of the statement. It led directly to the saddest verse in the New Testament, when Jesus, crucified for our sins, hanging on the cross, said, Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? There's a direct link between the first verse in Genesis and that one.
Yeah.
That's how big it is.
Yeah. And you hit a lot of them right there. Our cultural messages that we get, like a successful man lives here. A successful man drives this. A successful man rises to this point in his company. And really what we should replace that with is a valuable man. A man with value does this. But you also talk about family experience, religious messages, but ultimately they're messages that we get from our own conscience of our separation from God, that instead of driving us to him, typically drives us away when he's pursuing us all the time. Absolutely,
Rob. Yeah, and the messages do come from all sorts of different sources. but we're the reminder. We're the one reminding us. My brother had a scar on his knee for the rest of his life, still alive. My brother also did a lot of swimming and playing basketball. I saw him with his legs exposed possibly 1,000 times throughout my childhood. I never, ever didn't notice the triangular shaped scar on his knee. It was my reminder of the darkness of my identity. Nobody else gave me that message. I added it. But I got to say this too. I think, I don't know that I've referred to churches or our theological background being another source of shame. It really can be, guys. In fact, that author that I mentioned, Lewis Smedes, writing the book, Shame and Grace, he said you can catch a healthy case of shame at church. And I read that sentence and I thought, I did. I'll tell you a quick story if it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm 10. So this is shortly following my pitchfork experience. I'm 10 and I'm in a super conservative church background. Most people have never heard of it. It's called Plymouth Brethren. I
Heard of it.
You know of it. I tell people, think Mennonite, turn right.
Yeah, I got it.
We're down the line on the right. At any rate, basically, great spiritual, solid biblical foundation, a lot of performance, subtle stuff being laid on boys in particular, because you're the ones who need to lead this church someday. When I was 10, I was confronted by an elder in the church, scary old guy. I don't know why he confronted me in this hallway. I don't know where mom and dad are. I don't know where my best friends are. It's me and this guy. And he says to me, young man, every man in the assembly, not church, in the assembly, must be ready to preach, pray, or die with 10 minutes notice.
And how old are you?
Are you ready? He said.
You were 10 years old?
I'm 10. 10. I'm a kid alone in a hallway. Preach, pray, or die. First of all, I wish I'd had the capacity, Rob. I did not. I wish I'd had the capacity to say, dude, I'm 10.
What about playing kickball, bro? We got
the heck off just a little bit here. No, that's not what I thought. I thought this is the voice of God.
Right.
And I thought through, preach, pray, or die. Preach? Are you kidding? If you knew about the pitchfork, you would eliminate me from the list. Pray? I don't pray in King James English with a Scottish accent like a number of the other brothers did.
Right.
The door for me is number 3. Sorry to flash the bird there. The door for me is number 3. Die. That's the message I got at 10, Rob, from a church.
I think we grew up in the same church. I really do. Yeah. Because right down the road from you was the Baptist church, right? And we led with like, oh gosh, God loves you. But once you were in, dude, man, it was like preach, pray, or die time. Like, I'm a kid. I'm gonna screw up, and I'm not saying let's not put the bar high for our kids and lead them into those things. But my goodness, teaching someone they're going to hell before you're 4 years old, a little heavy. I mean,
kidding. Yeah. And that idea about grace, maybe, but I don't think so. I heard a message between the age 1 and 16 on grace. I don't think so. I heard a bunch and saw a bunch of examples about performance.
I get it.
And spiritual perfection.
I get it. And this is absolutely hitting a group of men who grew up in that. Men, shame starts early and stays hidden.
It becomes a silent saboteur, and that's what we're talking about. Living with purpose means courageously disarming that in whatever form it comes in.
Yeah.
And we're going to step into that in a second. But first, I would love to have you hear about an opportunity for yours truly. Shoot, I'll bring Craig with me. He does this too. To come talk to your men's group, your conference. Let's take a look at that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the cost of unresolved shame. We'll be right back. Hey man, it's Rob Stout with the Next Stage Podcast and Sherpa Unlimited. You know, people ask me, what do you love to do most in life? Here it is. I love to talk to men's groups, like retreats, conferences, men's breakfast, I don't care, tailgate, night at the cigar bar, night around a campfire. I don't care what it is. I love to talk to men and to hear what's going on in their life, but to impart wisdom and to talk about living as a man of purpose, born out of identity of who God has made you to be. Man, if that's something that you're like, let's go, just simply email me. The Next Stage at SherpaUnlimited.com, and let's set up a time to come talk to your men's group, your breakfast. We could do it online. I don't care where you are in the world. Email us. Let's figure it out. The Next Stage at SherpaUnlimited.com. Wow, what a conversation. Craig, thanks again for joining us. I know you've been a busy period of your life. But let's dive into the cost of unresolved shame, okay? At a very practical level, not a theoretical level, but what does it cost a man in his leadership, in his marriage, in his fatherhood, like those most important areas of his life? How have you seen it have a price tag in those areas?
Thanks so much for that really important question.
Yeah.
I'll remind the guys, to me, the word's defective. You're defective beyond all description. And then there's a second word. As a result, you're disqualified. Let that sink in, Rob. You know what that feels like. You've told me enough of your story that I know you know what that feels like. Me too. You're defective, and as a result, you're disqualified. Me as a 10-year-old, if the guy says you got to preach, pray, or die, whatever, I'm disqualified, but because of the pitchfork. No, later on, as a leader, leading spiritual study groups in college within a varsity Christian fellowship, I actually thought I was disqualified. I'm not the guy you really want doing this. If you only knew my whole story. And by the way, in the meantime, I have viewed pornography and discovered I'm vulnerable to it. If you knew everything about me,
sure, you
would disqualify me. And guys, I just got to say to you guys, and if there are any women watching, it's true of you too, but it's true of the men in your life. This message of disqualification. I can't lead a middle school Sunday school class because of that whole porn thing I did last night, man. Don't even bother asking. No, I can't go to a men's retreat and tell stories about my background and confess to other people temptation I experienced because I'm going to be judged and disqualified. It goes on and on and on. Believe me, I know what it feels like for the message, the voice of you're disqualified. How many women are out there would love to see their men step up and be the spiritual leader, bring the voice, bring the presence. Would you please lead our home spiritually? How many women are longing for that?
Right.
But what they don't know is their husband is not just saying, I don't have the time for that. Or, I'm not really sure I'd do a good job of a study on Romans. Deep, deep down beneath the surface is the voice of shame saying, you're disqualified.
Yeah.
You're hopeless. Yeah, and shame, last sentence, shame is the enemy's primary tool for keeping men on the sideline of life. Primary tool to get men on the sideline of life. Passive and silent, just like the first guy.
Yeah. You'll love this. You won't love this, but this hits exactly what we're talking about. I was talking with a man a couple of years ago, and we were talking about why older guys in the church seem to be so quiet. Like it's, some of the younger college age guys or whatever who are have all the energy and all this. And he goes, it's not a loss of testosterone. It's that our message to ourselves is that we effed up.
Yep.
And therefore disqualified.
And there's no coming back.
I screwed up, man. I messed this up. I messed that up. And therefore, I'm out.
There's no coming back.
Yeah.
I've discovered that over honestly, I've been doing vocational ministry for 50 years now. It's hard to believe even for myself when I say that, but most of that time with men, encouraging men to pursue mentorship, young guys with old guys with young guys. I've discovered young guys often disqualify themselves because they think, who in the world would want to pay attention to me if they knew my story?
Right.
I've also discovered, and some of this is personal, old men disqualify themselves because of just what you just said.
Yeah.
What's a young kid, young being 35 or 40 or 27, 16, what young man wants to listen to me because if he even knew my story? I'm disqualified. Gosh, It's the tool of the enemy, guys.
Well, 100%. And yet some of the most powerful voices in my life, I'm sure you will shake your head in agreement, have been older guys who are in front of me going, I've been there too.
Yeah.
I stepped in that hole. I was sidelined. I wrecked this. And look what God did in my life.
Yeah.
And to have an older man sit and empathize with you, jump in with you with empathy, and yet help lead you is an incredibly powerful thing.
It's the message from an older guy. Gosh, Rob, it is just, it's so life-giving. Mm-hmm. An older guy who will say something like, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, me too, Craig.
Yeah.
Here's my story. Holy cow. You mean there's hope? Yes, there's hope. You're not the only one.
Yeah. Let me drill down in just a little bit on where we started this question at, the cost of unresolved shame. What does it cost a man as a dad when he's living with shame?
It hurts.
Or as a husband, what is it? What is the cost there? Yeah. Or as a leader, what is the price tag that he pays for staying in that?
Yeah.
And I'll throw out one idea in leadership. It's unrealized potential.
You got
you've got all this in you, and yet you're the one disqualifying yourself. That's my story. I'm like, I can't. Craig's in the room. He's better than me.
Right.
He's got more wisdom than me.
No, you're right.
I don't have a place here, you know?
I love that you said that. And what's going through, I said a minute ago, it hurts my heart. It does. It hurts my heart. You nailed it. Lost potential. Mm-hmm. But it hurts my heart. It does. It hurts my heart because, by the way, the voice of shame returns. It returns. Maybe some guys will experience permanent healing from the message of shame. Fantastic, wonderful. I believe it can happen. My experience with men and me is it comes back around. It returns. Yeah. And so I have to keep reminding myself that the cost of shame, hiddenness, silence, passivity, stuckness, low bar of not just self-expectation, but self-identity. Bad, low bar. Way lower than who God really built you to be. The guy built us to be has so much to offer, so much to give. It can be unleashed and freed when it is broken from the bounds of shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate shame. I hate it.
Yeah. And throwing that into what that looks like in a marriage.
Yeah.
If I'm living with shame in the background,
yeah,
I cannot be transparent with my wife about my needs.
Sure.
I cannot be honest with her because I've got this mask to keep on.
Yeah.
If I cannot walk my kids into, yes, I've messed up in this area too. And son, it's okay. I understand. I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, but here's what this looks like. Here's where dad is heading. You know what I mean? Just to lower, to have humility in that and not pound the message in, but to be humble and go, I've experienced that too. And yet here's where we as men go.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not endorsement. Hey, it's okay. You're in a big crowd. It's no problem. Go ahead and, dabble with pornography. It's all right. No, it's not endorsement. It's not acceptance that this is okay. It's an understanding. This is brotherhood. You can trust me. I will walk with you. Together, we will walk with each other to encounter this challenge in our lives, and we're going to get through it. And especially as fathers, I would like to say this. It's so important for the fathers listening to not fall to the lie that we got to cover up our story, because otherwise our kids are going to reproduce it. I bumped into a lot of guys who say, man, I can't tell my kids about, dabbling with drugs in college. Otherwise, they're going to think it's okay and they're going to do the whole deal. I can't tell my son, that, gosh, holy cow, I was exposed to pornography at age 11. This is me. I'm talking the truth for me.
That was back in the day when you had to have a magazine. Now you got it in your pocket with your phone.
That's really, really early, very, very early, back in the 60s. But my friend's stack of pornography in his dad's garage. Don't hide that from my sons. No, I need to let them know, hey, this is part of my story. There's a German philosopher, theologian kind of guy. The name doesn't matter that much. The point is this: what stays hidden in the Father lives in the Son. Oh my goodness. What stays hidden in the Father, shame, lives in the Son. Confession of shame, acknowledgement, talking about it wisely and openly with other brothers is the source of healing from shame. When we start to tell the story and other guys say, I got it, I get it, you're not the only one. Let's walk together about this. Especially a son, for goodness sake, when you can go there. It's ammunition for him.
Yeah.
Protective ammunition.
Well, one generation does not resolve, the next generation will replicate. Absolutely. Yeah. Man, what an incredible conversation. And that's why we keep saying it. Living with unresolved shame is like living with a silent saboteur in your life.
Yeah. It's
living with purpose involves courageously disarming that. And that's where I want to pivot our conversation to freedom from that. What does real freedom from shame actually look like? And where do men start? Where would a man start? By going, wow, this is the first time I heard about this.
Yes.
What's that look like?
Yeah. Let's assume there's 1,000 guys who just said, I didn't even know about this. Maybe it's 2, whatever the number. First of all, acknowledge it. Understand it. Acknowledge it. This is a deal. The enemy, your enemy, prowls around like a roaring lion, 1 Peter says, looking to see who he can devour. He's going after us. He wants to get you guys. And he's not coming in the front door. He's prowling around like a lion. He's coming after us. That's the first thing, to acknowledge it and pay attention to it. Another is to understand that we need to be open with a few guys about our story. 1 John 1:7, walk in the light as he is in the light, and you'll have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus will sanctify you. What an incredible verse. Just tear it apart just a little bit. Walk in the light. Yes, the context is about walking in the light that God shines ahead of us, his leadership in our lives. But I think it also metaphorically means walk openly, not in hiddenness, not in the basement with the website, not darkness in the closet or whatever it is. Walk in the light with a few well-chosen men. Be honest about the story. And what's going to happen is two amazing things. One, they're going to condemn me and shame me and kick me out of church. No, that's not what it says. You'll have fellowship with one another. You'll discover I'm not the only one. And secondly, in the process, we experience ongoing transformation. The blood of Jesus continues to sanctify us. That's what happens when we bring shame out of the darkness into light.
Yeah. Awesome. So there's an understanding piece of going, okay, this world is rigged to not work. The present reality of our world is that the enemy comes to lie, steal, kill, and destroy, right?
Yep.
A roaring lion. There's a system around us, a culture that is rigged to pull us away.
Yeah.
However, there's also what Christ has done, and there's also fellowship with other men, community with other men. And I know that that's something that's changed your life. It's changed my life as well.
Yeah. It's huge.
I've got 4 guys. They know everything about me.
Wow.
Everything.
Good for you. Wow.
How many men don't have one guy that is with them in the foxhole of life?
Right.
You know?
I mean, I don't remember when the book came out. It was decades now. The Lonely American Male. Not a Christian book. This is an observation about the culture of the United States. Masculinity, lonely, isolated, independent, and in not a good way. No, when we come out and we connect with other men, we find the right guys to tell the truth to. And I just got to say, too, pay attention to passages in Scripture that talk about shame. One of them, Psalm 34, 4 and 5. Those who look to the Lord are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame.
Yeah.
Wow. I already have that thing printed out and stuck on the wall in front of my desk here, so I remember that. Look to the Lord. Those men are radiant. You're never covered with shame. There's no condemnation anymore for those who are in Christ Jesus.
Psalm 103 is another one that hits me. He has compassion on us, for he knows we are human.
Yes.
One translation says.
That's great.
He knows we're human. It's like, he knows that.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
That's great.
Let's kind of land the conversation in a very concrete way so that men can say, hey, listen, here's what I can do. Number one, I'm going to throw something at you, man, right here. Craig's book, The Noble Journey. Unbelievable. You can go to his website and get it. Go to peregrineministries.org?
.org? Yep.
You can get a copy of it there. Noble Journey is a really good book. In fact, this entire conversation is fueled out of one of the chapters in that book, chapter 2, I believe it is.
Thanks.
really good stuff. But we always talk about on the next stage, what is the one thing that men can take away? Like, what is one step that a man can do to start to disarm shame? And you mentioned a couple of them. There's an understanding piece.
Yeah.
There's a get in God's word, which is timeless truth. There's a community piece,
Right.
for sure. Getting with another man. I had a guy reach out a couple weeks ago and just said, "Hey, it's a guy in the neighborhood." He's like, "Man, I need to talk." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm in. Let's go. It's what we do." What's
Yeah.
another way? And this
Yeah.
is me very innocently teeing up your PDF that we talked about called Freedom from Shame. Tell us
Thank you.
about this.
Thank
Tell
you.
us about it.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a big, nice, slow pitch right down the middle. Thank you, Rob. Yes, our website is Peregrine Ministries. Not too many people, not everybody knows what peregrine is. It's kind of falcon, peregrine. That's how you spell it. PeregrineMinistries.org. If you go to /freedom-from-shame, there's a resource that we've put together that just helps men walk through all the stuff that Rob and I have just talked about and more, to help identify in your own story, when did shame walk in the back door for me? And it was the back door. And by the way, wow, shame walked through the front door for sure, in a lot of different ways, more than anything else, usually from angry fathers. But at any rate, this resource is a way for men to just walk through this topic. Doesn't take long. Who knows, maybe 30 minutes, 45, to think it through and come to the end and identify, this is when the enemy got a stranglehold on me and I'm getting a release. I'm going to be free from this.
Yeah, it is so easy, Craig, to just kind of talk about these things in ethereal, the world of ideas.
Yeah.
But these topics, man, and I'm looking at them right here, what shame really is, your shame story and your cloak, as Craig called it, where shame comes from, talking about the enemy there, the messages, the whispers of shames, the mask we wear, the truth behind shame's power, the path to freedom and from shame, and then the one thing that you can do. It is really, it's a 10-page PDF, very practical. One of the most practical tools I've seen on this. And here's what you can do. You can go to peregrineministries.org/freedom-from-shame, or you can email me. I will email you back this link. I'll give you the PDF. I'll copy Craig in, but just email the next stage at SherpaUnlimited.com. The next stage is SherpaUnlimited.com. I will hook you up with this. You can go direct to Craig. I don't care how.
Absolutely.
But men, we want to help you in this area. Oh, gosh. Craig, thanks so much. I mean, we could talk for days about
this. Yeah, we could. Yeah. And it's very evident from you, Rob, and I want to make sure it's evident from me, the intensity and passion that we feel for you men about this subject. We feel it for you men. We've been down that road, and it returns. We feel it. We know it. We understand it for you guys. There is hope, and there is freedom from shame.
Yeah. There is, bro. You hit it right there. And it evokes emotion. Men, we're not just screwing around.
Right.
We've got more to do in life. We could both be fly fishing. I mean, but to say, gosh, we're in it with you. Man, thank you. Thank you, Craig.
Okay,
man, here's the message for today. Living with unresolved shame is like living with a silent saboteur in your life.
Yeah.
Aren't you ready to start a journey of slaying that thing? Man, living with purpose involves courageously stepping up and disarming it, because you don't have to live that way. You don't have to go it alone. Again, email me the next stage at sherpaunlimited.com. I will send this to you, or go to Craig's website. All of that will be in the show notes. Get a hold of this. But until next time, may you be men who live lives of purpose, born out of your identity of who you are, created in God's image.
Yeah. Amen.
Shame does not have a part in that. Let's go slay that thing.
Thanks for joining us on the Next Stage podcast for men with Rob Stout. The Next Stage helps men live with purpose, born out of identity, as men made in God's image who are shaping this world for good. The Next Stage is a production of Sherpa Unlimited Coaching for Men, based in Denver, Colorado in the United States. Learn more at sherpaunlimited.com/thenextstage, or follow Sherpa Unlimited on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. We love feedback. Please send your feedback, questions, or requests for future content to this email, thenextstage@sherpaunlimited.com. Again, thenextstage@sherpaunlimited.com. The Next Stage distributes episodes every 2 weeks on Wednesday mornings. The Next Stage taps the wisdom of the ancient scriptures, and if you don't have a copy of the Bible, we can help you fix that. First, you can visit any public library and check one out, or visit an online or local bookstore. Alternatively, just about any Bible-believing church would be happy to give you a Bible for a nominal price, or even free. And while you're there, make a personal introduction to the pastor or his staff, and consider attending services there this Sunday. Finally, you can just download a free Bible app called YouVersion for your smartphone. Whether you have an Apple iPhone, Google Android phone, or something else, go to your phone's app store and search YOU Version and select the YouVersion Bible. Also, you can find a link for the YouVersion Bible app in the show notes of today's podcast. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks.